Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. Breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. In the whole history of trades, I would put the Marcus Smart deal last night in top 20 biggest, most craziest, surprising deals in the history of our Boston sports life. But again, Marcus Smart gave us 9 years. And first of all, kudos to Marcus Smart. The guy gave it all he could on the court. We all loved him in some ways and hated him in other ways. But right now, Marcus Smart is on the downward spiral of his career, Russ. And to get the assets that they get back, we talked about, trying to get a big man and who that would be, getting draft picks. I think Brad had a hell of a night last night.
Yeah, if Marcus was on a golf course, he'd probably be on the 10th hole, something like that. Not past his prime really, but also a guy who could go from the 11th hole to the 17th hole very quickly because of all the beating that his body took. So arguably they traded him at the height of his value, probably.
Yeah. Joe, Marcus Smart is a guy who's not going to play 81 games anymore. Played, if you look, 60 games last year. A guy who got hurt a lot, but a guy who...
And he only played like 10 of those. He was one of those guys that he was playing 35 minutes for some reason. And 30 of the minutes, he was a statue. And then he gave you his old-fashioned Marcus Smart in the other 5 minutes. Usually the last minute of each quarter, he would turn it on. But he didn't have it to go 35 minutes anymore.
No, that's a great point, Joe. And Russ, this is a guy who was the defensive player of the year just, the prior season. He wasn't the same guy this year defensively.
Not defensively, whether that was an injury, wear and tear. I don't think it's, I think to Joe's point, it's just, I don't think he has the energy that he used to have to play hard for 30 minutes a night. And it's a natural part of aging.
Right.
He's, like you've said before, Russ, you're very old, 29.
Yeah. And again, in the NBA, I mean, for a guy, a guard to last 10 years, that historically is a hell of a career. I mean, these guards don't play 15 years usually. And
they're like running backs in football. They wear out quick.
Not the level that he's played. Now, the whole rumors were that Brad wanted to trade Brogdon, that the LA Clippers, who were part of this three-way deal with the Wizards, couldn't get a doctor. So he shifted real quick and traded Marcus Smart. I don't believe that completely because, I mean, it was either Brogdon or Smart, but he wanted to make the deal. What do you see of that?
Oh, it's totally believable. I think Adam Himmelsbach reported today that basically they had negotiated already that deal with Memphis and negotiated the deal with the Clippers, and they preferred the Clippers deal. But when the Clippers deal fell through, they went to plan B. And I give Brad a lot of credit. He was going to move one of those two guys yesterday. I mean, that's clear. He woke up yesterday morning saying, I'm trading Brogdon or Smart. And when he couldn't deal Brogdon because of, they couldn't get a medical checkup, he took probably the riskier move and dealt Smart. It's totally believable to me.
But he wanted Porzingis. He wanted him.
Yeah. I think he woke up saying, I'm getting Porzingis and I'm going to trade one of these two guys.
And he really, Marcus, okay, we gave up something there. You got to give up something to get something. But Gallinari never even played for us. And Muscala was never going to play other than 10th man in the rotation.
Yeah.
So, and a second round pick, and you end up with 2 firsts and Porzingis. I think that's pretty, good use of your assets.
I mean, Joe, if you were to say, like, sort of projecting into next year, the assets that mattered in this deal were Smart, from the Celtics, and Gallo. Gallo was probably going to play next year. So you'd say it was Smart and Gallo and the 35th pick for Porzingis, the 25th pick this year, and a first-round pick next year. That's a good deal, right? They moved up 10
State
slots.
might not have a great year. They just traded away.
That could be a sneaky good pick, Joe. Like, they've got a bunch of old guys in that roster. They got one more, CP3. So you got 3 guys who've been seriously injured over the past
Thompson,
2 years on Golden State, in a whack-a job in Draymond Green. And 2 of those guys go down and they could win 37 games. And you end up with the 12th pick in the draft.
Yeah, protected to 4 next year. And then 1.
I don't think if they'd ever get down that far anyway.
1 the next year, and then not protected the year after that. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like with that. But like you said, Russ, if you could pick up the 12th pick in the draft next year, in addition to the 25th, don't sleep on the 25th pick as opposed to the 35th pick. I just said to you guys a few hours ago, they literally, the Atlanta Hawks literally sold the 40th pick in the draft to the Lakers.
Yeah. No, it's a meaningful, going up 10 spots is meaningful in a draft. That's 10 guys that you have on the board, right?
You have the potential to get a starter there.
Yeah.
Not next year, but
a starting player. Absolutely.
Rob Williams territory.
Right. Grant Williams was what, 23, something like that. Rob Williams. I'd take either one of those.
Yeah, right in that land,
And it's supposed to be a deep draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of a ballsy move by Brad, but I think where we all ended up towards the end of the year saying, after the year was over, saying, look, there's something wrong.
Right.
There was something wrong with the combination of Brown, Tatum, and Smart. Something was off. They couldn't get over the hump. And whatever that was, whether it was in their chemistry or the DNA or whatever, they weren't going to get rid of Tatum or Brown. So it wasn't Smart's fault. I don't think you can sit here and say it's Smart's fault that they didn't win the championship, the last 3 years. But he's really the only one who you'd remove to see if you can fix things. Of that threesome, right?
That makes so much sense for us. People all day today say, "Oh, he's the heart and soul of the team." Well, I'm here to tell you that was a pretty heartless team last year.
Yeah,
they didn't have much of anything. They were pretty wishy-washy from day one on. I attribute more of that to the coaching snafus there than to Marcus. Marcus is just kind of a victim, but he more than any other player on that team this year did not play up to expectations.
In the regular season, he played better in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah, he still got it, and he's a smart guy. He studies film. He sits there and he'll wait all game long. He knows when he can get a steal at any time, but he waits for the moment, and he will snag it in the big moment. He will grab that steal. He studies more than any other player, I think.
Well, we talk about free agency. When you sign a free agent, are you paying more for past performance or future performance? When you make a trade like this, we have to not think about the Marcus Smart of the last 9 years. We have to think of the Marcus Smart the next 3 to 5 years. And you're not the guy that we love so much is not going to be that same guy in 2 to 3 years.
Well, Porzingis is only 2 years younger, too, to be fair.
Yeah, but big men always last longer.
The thing about it is, they don't. Brad doesn't make this trade unless White takes a major step forward. Last year, I mean, there's no way he's making this trade if he didn't have White ready to, as a younger player, as a more complete player, as a better offensive player, and a guy who made an all-defensive team last year, ready to step in for Smart.
But also, he's taken the decision-making out of Mazzulla's hands, because if you remember, Mazzulla lots of times would keep White on the bench during key times now.
Right.
And all of a sudden, he doesn't have that option anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think Mazzulla and Brad would like to see a playmaker. Not White's forte, and it was never Marcus's forte. Marcus only got his assists during transition, and White isn't a great passer either. He's good at probing the defense on the weak side, but I think Brad and Missoula would like a pass guy, a facilitator to open
Yeah.
up the two J's.
Yeah, just
Okay.
to jump on that, Smart's the best passer the Celtics had. I
Right.
mean, he
And
just
he
was.
good.
And we don't have good passers left over right now. So a big clear hole right now, and you wonder whether Brad's done or not, is getting another getting another playmaker, getting another passer in here. Even with Brogdon and White and Pritchard, that's not enough. You're gonna need another pass kind of player.
Yeah. You
Marcus-
can't just give it to one of the J's out beyond the arc and tell them make a play. You got to open them up a little, get them, and you have to get those two moving. Those two have got lead shoes too a lot of the time.
Marcus Smart was one of the most polarizing athletes in the history of Boston sports. Would you agree with that statement?
One of them, yeah.
In the last 10 years, even though we've had Jason Tatum, we've had Jaylen Brown, the most talked about athlete, probably other than Tom Brady in this town, is Marcus Smart. Would you agree?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's probably up there. Yeah. Yeah,
he's
up
the
there.
dirt dog. He's the fan favorite, what people want. Diving on the floor, going after loose balls. That's what we want to see in our players. I wish, the two Jays had that kind of go get it attitude.
Look,
all right, before we
people blamed him for everything, just like they blamed Tuca for everything, right? Smart was the guy who took most of the blame. I mean, Jason Tatum hasn't been blamed for hardly anything in this town. Jaylen Brown, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
They do get a free pass. You're right.
Yeah, that's changing. The lightning rod is out.
Mhm.
He's
it's been 6 years. 6 years of, almost there. Conference finals. Conference finals.
Does Marcus Smart get his number retired?
No,
not
even
he thought he was
have a
gonna.
title.
He thought that, and I feel bad for him there.
No, you need even he knew he wasn't getting his name retired and his number retired unless they won a title. And even then it was not even close. That's stupidity. Like people talking about that. You got to get a title.
Yeah, he got.
I'm by the way, of the four of us, I am actually, Timmy claims credit for being the biggest Smart fan. I've been in Smart's camp for the longest.
I believe
right?
so too.
I am his biggest supporter, and I will tell you, he's not even close to getting his number retired in my mind.
No, but I think had they won a title, I think they
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Last year, if they'd won a title when he got the defensive accolades, and was a real firecracker last year, then yes.
Okay, we've been talking since the season ended what the main need was of the Celtics, and we all decided after much review it was a big man. We couldn't really determine what big man that was, but Porzingis is a hell of a big man to have got. I mean, are we sleeping on this guy averaging over 20? I mean, he's a stud. He's one of the top 5 big men in the league.
Yeah, when he's healthy,
he's got great stats.
It's all about his health. Like when he's healthy and he's mobile, he's really good. He's really, really, really good because he can score at all 3 levels. He can shoot threes, he can score in the mid range, and he has a post-up game.
So tell me, we lost to the Miami Heat. Who's the defensive answer for Porzingis on the Miami Heat?
They don't have one. No.
Well, that's why, Gary Washburn made a great point. In 5 years, Rob Williams has yet to develop a single post move or a shot.
Yeah.
And you can't blame Rob for that. You got to blame Brad and the Celtics coaching staff. They haven't required that of him.
Yeah.
And if they had done that all along, they would have eaten Miami alive.
Well, would they have eaten Miami alive if they had Porzingis?
Yeah, probably.
So. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there is he's not the most. He's not considered to be the toughest hombre
Right.
in the lineup, right? So I don't think he does anything for the perception that the Celtics are a little weak-minded or soft, but he's so talented. I mean, guys, all last year, Marcus Smart was our third best player. And going into next year, it was going to be probably Derek White or Marcus Smart. Now it's Kristaps Porzingis. And it moves White to the fourth best player. Kristaps Porzingis, when he's healthy, is probably realistically a number 2 guy, or 2.5 on a championship team, and he's number 3 for us.
And
that's the big difference.
Right. Great point. You're not going to be able to double team Jalen or Tatum anymore because the ball gets to the Porzingis' hands. The guy can do anything he wants with it.
And he's got a good repertoire. He's got mid-range, he's got post moves, and he's got 3-point shooting.
He never turns it over. He's not turnover prone. You want to bust that Miami zone, you just stick Porzingis in the middle, up all 7'3" of them, and let him get the ball in the middle and dish it to somebody.
Yeah,
I mean, that zone is done.
Those guys moving. Here's Timmy.
That zone is over.
Oh, and here's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. First of all, my condolences on the Marcus Smart deal. It was you and I awake last night when it happened. And I don't notice the black armband on your shirt right now. Will that be coming later?
All I can say is the Xanax bottle is empty.
All right. Tell us your reaction about the Marcus Smart deal. We've already spoken about it, but we need to hear what you think.
Emotionally, I'm hurt. I love Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is the Terry O'Reilly of the Boston Celtics in this whole city. He dyed his hair green. Now, I don't know if he dyed it because of the Celtics, but, he's the anti-Kyrie. He's, blood and guts, leave it on the floor. He made some terrible plays. He made some great plays. I always joked I never heard 16,000 people yell no is when Marcus lined up for the shot. And then it would go in, I love him, but, I don't know how much wear and tear he had left in that board, the way he throws it around. We obviously needed some kind of a change, there was something wasn't getting us over the hump. We obviously needed a big man, and we got a 7'3" guy who can shoot threes, we got a very, very good player now, and we also have, if he can stay healthy, Malcolm Brogdon and White, 2 very capable guards. Is it better for the Celtics? It probably is better for the Celtics. I don't know how it's going to affect the chemistry and the tenacity, but
we had a sense that. Would you guys agree that Marcus Smart was not going to retire as Celtic, that he was going to be traded at some point?
I didn't have that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they were to Tim's point, once they made the determination that his body was going, he was starting to fade, they were going to have to move on.
Yeah.
And he took a step back last year, and maybe it was a nagging injury and he gets better and he comes back more motivated than ever. It's also possibly he's on the back 9. Just is. Yeah.
And again, on air, I have to ask this question. Would Bill Belichick, because it felt like a Bill Belichick kind of move.
Lawyer Malloy.
Exactly.
Lawyer
Malloy trade.
Yeah. Just getting him. And did we trade him at his peak value?
Yes, I think he really maximized the asset before he unloaded it. That much is guaranteed, because I couldn't believe the return for what they gave.
More for Marcus Smart. Taking account, I understand
Bradley Beal. Good point.
Beal contract, Russ, but we did get on the surface more than Bradley Beal was compensation.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Again, though, that's really all contract. I mean, Beal,
$50 million,
$50 million a year, and he has a no trade. Right. That's the worst. That's the most onerous contract in the NBA. bar none.
Was he the only guy in the league with a no trade?
Yeah, pretty much.
I was shocked about that no one else gets no trades. Good on the NBA management for keeping things flexible.
No, we never really got to see Galliano play, and Muscala was a half decent player. I mean, are they just afterthoughts? I mean,
Yes.
You got to make the money work and everything.
Muscala didn't see a second in the playoffs, and to me, that's the big test. If you the playoffs, you just fodder.
And Gallinari is an expiring contract, so Washington likes that, and they like Jones. He's an expiring contract, and Muscala is only going to get $3.5 million the next year, so he's not a big deal. They can keep him or get rid of him.
Look, Gallinari is an old guy who just coming off an ACL. I mean, there's not going to be
second ACL in the same knee.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was just a contract dump. Good for Brad using that asset to make this deal happen.
Look, the Celtics got the most talented player in the deal by far.
Oh, yeah.
And that's usually who wins these deals, right? And they got 2 picks, right? Or at least an upgraded pick and another first round pick.
And a potential good pick.
I mean,
it's really Golden State's pick, though, right?
Next year.
Next year's Golden State.
Are we at the level in Brad we trust?
Oh, I have no qualms about Brad at all. None. I mean, and Danny was good. He's outdone Danny.
Well, I thought it was smart that, he could have been lazy and ran it back again, and everyone would have said, okay, we'll give it another try. But he wasn't. He went out and he's doing it the hard way. He's going to try to make them better.
Well, there was a clear need, Russ, for a big man, and he filled it in a huge way.
He took a risk. I didn't think he said, or certainly implied, that he was going to make what amounted to marginal improvements on the team, on June 1st when he spoke to the media. I didn't see this coming. And I think it was the CBA. I think at the end, they don't make this trade if the CBA didn't really put them in a very difficult position next year, but particularly.
So what role? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah, I just think the CBA allowed them to heavy up on contracts this year, but was going to punish them for heavying up on contracts next year. So they basically get Marcus's deal off the books for next year. And right now, unless they extend him, Porzingis is just a 1-year deal.
Right. What does this mean for Al as far as rotational player?
Well, Al was taking, he's for the last couple of years, he's taken off the second night of a back-to-back, and a number of other nights he's been taken off for back issues. I imagine we'll see more of that. He'll probably play in about 50 games rather than 60.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Joe's right. And I think he moves to a 20-minute a game player, 20 to 25, and you play each of these other guys 25 to 30. And then that's your big man rotation.
Yeah, you watch Al now. He can play defense with the best of them. He's still got the feet, but he's a statue on offense. He goes to his corner, and that's it. That's all you're getting out of him. He's not cutting to the basket. He's not doing nothing.
Timmy, would you be shocked if Rob Williams was traded tonight?
Nothing would shock me after my beloved, sainted Marcus Smart because I really thought he was with the Jays an untradeable, kind of just like he was like the Celtics' identity, that gritty, down and dirty. Like I thought he was just a big catalyst for this team. So and I guess, do I like a cold-blooded general manager? I guess I do. I mean, we were torturing Belichick, when he traded this and that, and he just put championship after championship up. I guess I like a cold-blooded general manager. So I guess, and if we traded Williams, there would be something splendid in return.
It's funny that one off season that we didn't talk about Marcus Smart being traded. We didn't see that coming, and Marcus Smart gets traded. Rob Williams.
What about the other Williams? He's still out there as a trade.
Oh my God!
Sign and trade.
Sign and trade. Sign and trade.
How does this move last night affect Grant Williams's future with the Celtics?
Yeah, you would think it makes him less likely to return. But a lot of that may depend on what kind of offers he gets, right? Like if teams are really only coming in at $12 to $15 million a year, if I'm the Celtics, I sign him and then just use that as an asset to trade later, right? Because you don't get really penalized badly this year for going over the apron. It's next year when
they would have to.
That's right.
Second level that only Golden State usually goes into.
But you could look at. I think Timmy said sign and trade. Like if you sign and trade him, you could recoup some draft picks. You could get a guard. Like he's in play for sure.
Whose minutes does?
Wait, does he get you a first?
Oh
no. I mean
in the 20s.
Yeah, it's a great question, Tim. But the only way you could trade him for mainly picks is to trade him into a team that has cap space. And he's not likely to be a guy that a team like do the Spurs, like, are they going to give a first round draft pick for Grant Williams?
Yeah,
there's like 5 or 6 teams who have space.
And a draft pick over 20 is like,
yeah,
you're looking to get under 20, right? I mean, that's the sweet spot.
Well, I mean, we screwed up 14 with Langford and
Jokic was a second round pick, so.
Well, Neesmith and Langford they got you. They obviously got you other players, but they sucked.
I was going through the Celtics draft picks, the last 15 years, and I didn't even recognize like 75% of the names.
Jared Sullinger, Fab Mello.
Well, there was that year where they had like 6 or 7, and he had to stash them all overseas because no one would trade with them. When Danny had all those.
AC Earl, remember AC Earl?
Who was it? Was it Sullinger who had an Aston side of Rhode
Oh
Island?
my God, that guy was.
He could box out like nobody.
You must have his wife like doing his boxer shots in the laundry must have held him up and been like,
Who was the guy that came in the door on his first day and knocked himself out?
Fab Mello.
Fab Mello.
Pritchard. Could Pritchard go tonight? I mean, what's his role?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, only if you're going to get a guard back. Like you are, the 3 guards on our roster right now are Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, who's got a elbow tendon injury, and Peyton Pritchard, right? So we went from a clog at guard to needing a guard. And now that we didn't need, 20 million, they were paying basically 3 guards around 20 million each, which you can't do. So if Pritchard goes out, you got to bring a guard back in. I'm sorry.
How about this kid Davidson?
The kid with the crazy hair that they see.
You can't count on him, but you can't count on that guy to play me. He's never going to play in the playoff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's my point with Pritchard. He didn't sniff the playoffs, and when he was in there, he looked like he was 3 feet tall.
Oh, he looked lost.
I don't know if his game.
But he played in the playoffs. But the thing is,
last year he looked good.
In the playoffs the year before, he played meaningful minutes last year. Missoula just didn't want to play him.
What he did go though, Miami looked like a shark going after a wounded seal though when he was in there. But the year before, like you said, he was very effective the year before.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, beyond Derek White, would you want just a natural point guard, a guy not looking for a shot, looking to bring the ball up and dish?
Yeah.
When I first read,
Chris Paul would have been great here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. He's just so expensive. I thought when I read the deal, I thought Tyus Jones was coming here, and I was like, oh, that's fantastic. That's exactly the kind of guy we need. I don't know. I that's why I don't think Brad is done. Brad's not done with this. He may be done. He may not do something tonight, but there's one more move to make at least right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends with Grant and Pritchard and Brogdon.
Yeah, Brogdon.
There's a lot of loose ends, and he's got some extra assets in the draft now to play with too. So
What's
Would you
all
say
this?
his number one? Would you say his number one goal right now is like just a playmaking guard, like a Rondo type of player?
now that you got a center, I think that's a good thing. But he wouldn't turn down a solid wing either.
He would
I
not
think-
turn down another solid wing, right?
Guy I want is Halliburton. What do we have to do to get him?
Oh, you're never going to get him, Scotty. Like he's a top 20 player. There's no way. I mean, you'd have to give up Brown to get him.
Oh, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love his game too. But
Oh my God,
he's the kind of guy that makes everyone around him better too. That's
Oh,
what I like about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't. I would give you. Would you give the next 7 years first round picks for Halliburton?
Sure, absolutely. I'd give all the first round picks I could give for him, but that's not going to happen.
He's a nice fit. Well, look, it's the NBA draft tonight. Starts actually right now at 8 o'clock. Should be hopefully lots of fun. And then just the stupidest NBA quirk: when the 25th pick is called, the guy will have a Memphis Grizzlies hat on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just
So
as
stupid.
It's just
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
It's like reality doesn't matter.
I don't get that.
The draft order is the draft order.
Did I miss something?
Well, no, Timmy, because these trades can't become official
Until
after the draft, pretty much, because of the NBA. Yeah.
But you
It's
know, look,
just a rule they have. Even if you trade your draft picks amongst yourselves, it's still that way.
again, if you're the Celtics competitors in the East, you can't be happy with the Porzingis deal,
No.
right? I
I
mean,
mean, I kind of lost track of Porzingis. I got to be honest. He went from he came in with so
The
much
Knicks.
hoopla, and I mean, he was
Then he went to the Mavericks.
and he kind of fell off the radar, right? I mean, I just didn't hear about him really being relevant.
Well, he was out for 1 year. He missed a year. What was it like right around COVID time? He missed a whole year with, I think it was an ACL.
Mm-hmm.
well, just so you know, guys, that before the draft that Tatum got drafted, the Celtics offered the third pick for his Porzingis, and they turned it down.
Yeah, Danny loved him. Danny
Yeah.
loved him.
There's lots of love. I mean, we're all gonna love him. The key
If he
is
stays on the court, we will.
Yeah.
What I
If-
like
if-
hearing
Exactly.
was was music to my ears was hearing how good defensively he is. That was music to my ears.
we've never
He's
had a
got
guy
some great analytics on the defensive end. I've never thought of him as a big defender, but he's got great analytics. I got to say that.
He's good, but he's limited, right? He's not going to switch. So they're going to have to play a drop coverage when he's in there. But he'll give you some rim protection, and he's good at drop coverage on the pick and roll. So,
Oh,
if
a
he
weak point
plays,
to Boz.
if he's not injured, and that's the big if with this guy, if he's not injured, we're going to love him. No doubt.
Hey, look, Porzingis and Rob Williams on the court at the same time. Oh, Porzingis, Rob Williams, the two Jays, and Derek White. That's a nice five. It offers a lot of balance, right?
Very tall, very, very big five. Yeah.
Very.
Makes it hard to compete with a team that long.
Who does he draft in the 25th pick? Does he trade it? What?
I think he drafts someone probably, unless there's some like a really, really good deal. But I think if I'm him, I'm just drafting the best. I'm drafting the best available player.
Yeah, right.
Danny would draft a 6-foot guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Out of
If
it.
that's the best available player,
Yep. That
I don't
sometimes
know.
it is. Sometimes that's
You know,
all you get.
I mentioned on the I don't want to see a guard under 6'3". I just don't. It doesn't seem like a guard under 6'3" can defend in this league anymore.
Well, that's a great point. Man. Pritchard looks so small in the playoffs. I mean, the tiny guys, it is very difficult. We even see the Lowrys of the world. They can't play defense in the playoffs anymore.
They just attack them.
They're too big. All right, boys. Well, it should be fun tonight, the NBA draft. We're going to the Boston Red Sox, and things were looking so good. 24 hours ago, and then all of a sudden they had a 6-game winning streak, and then they lose 2 games in the
Well,
final.
that kid Brandon Walters there, the kid they just brought up, he did very well today. When I
Yeah.
turned it on, he came in for that Gaza, and but he went 6-7 innings and only gave up 3 runs.
Now, I've watched every game, as I know you guys do, and I'm telling you, the biggest problem and what has cost us at minimum 5 games this season has been Rafael Devers has been a complete bust the whole season. His stats are so phony. I don't even know where he got them. The guy hasn't had 1 clutch hit, and he's been terribly defensively.
Well, the whole infield has been terrible. You can't run through all 4 positions have sucked. So right off the bat, I'll say that. And I agree with you. Devers has not hit well in the clutch.
No.
That's for sure. And whenever there's men on base, I don't know where he gets all these RBIs because
I don't know.
he's got it done.
Got 230. His OBP, I think, now is under 300. Russ, I mean, of course, we said it was a make it or break it, especially for you. You weren't even going to be a season ticket holder anymore if they didn't re-sign Rafael Devers. Tell me what's going on, because he's been horrendous.
Well, he doesn't look like he's in shape, and I think he's a good guy, but I think he maybe got a little lazy and now is pressing. I think he's just trying to do too much. I think he's in a biggest rut of his career, and he's pressing to get out of it.
He's swinging at anything. He's
swinging at everything.
So, Timmy, that's not Chaim Bloom's fault. I'm not defending Chaim Bloom, but Rafael Devers not playing well is not Chaim Bloom's problem.
Oh, he would have been tarred and feathered. It would have been like 1776 in Boston again if Chaim Bloom had not signed Devers.
And he did it.
No, we can't blame him.
Devers, I mean, would you say that it's cost him 3 to 5 games the way Devers has played?
Oh, he's terribly defensively. I mean, he's a civil.
He can't get it in the air.
You're like, is he going to make the throw? I don't know.
Okay, with the current roster, where's Chaim Bloom made the mistake with the current roster? Is it the most glaring? It appears to be at shortstop, and the
shortstop.
Tryout of Kiki Hernandez at shortstop.
Yeah, that was a mess, and they got sideswiped by the Story thing, and they didn't have a backup plan, really, and they're just running guys through, and they got bad luck with Chang's injury and stuff. But like, Yu Chang is our answer to Xander Bogaerts and Trevor Story. Come on.
And Tristan Casas, why do so many Red Sox fans hate Tristan Casas? I love the guy. I think the kid is going to be a big star.
It's because he looks so disinterested there at first base. That's why they had to bench him, But when he just watches the balls go by him. He just doesn't even wave his glove at them. That's what gets you.
Who used to do that? Bellhorn and J.D. Drew, 2 of the most hated guys that ever came through this town.
I liked Bellhorn. I was a Bellhorn guy.
Oh, God,
struck out all the time, but
I said I remember it was a big playoff game, and I said Bellhorn's not going to take his bat off his shoulder, and he clanged it off the pesky pole. One of the greatest moments of my life at Fenway Park. Yeah.
Well, you're right about J.D. Drew. Except for that grand slam in the ALCS, he was absolutely useless. But why are we not to Russ?
Well, Scotty, this is why they don't like Casey. This town does not like players that appear to not care whether they like J.D. Drew. It looked like he didn't care if he walked, got a grand slam, struck out. It didn't seem to matter to him. The check was going to clear on Friday. This town does not like people that come off like that.
Yeah, I just think he's so young. I mean, the guy's a potential stud, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't be happy with his start, between last year and this year, but he's definitely over the last 30 days or so showed signs, and he's hitting the ball hard. His defense is not as good as I thought it was going to be.
No, it hasn't.
That's a disappointment. He's got to get better at that. But let's remember, we've talked about this, how bad Dustin Pedroia was that first half of his rookie year, and ended up winning the Rookie of the Year award. So Cassis has plenty of time to straighten this thing out.
Well, Cassis is ineligible now for Rookie of the Year.
It's not my point. But you just remember when Pedroia came up, he looked horrible.
That first
and
month
he turned it around. Right. So he's got a chance to turn around. He's got plenty of bats left.
Like 6 months now.
Well, see, we have no pay. And he's played well for the last 2 months. I mean, he's
played well. I take the last month from him.
What I noticed about him is the bad pitches he's starting to get to. He's still, if anyone throws over 95, he's way overmatched. That kid last night just baffled him. If he throw over 95, he can't hit him.
I'm talking about Joe. He got a base hit against Duran last night.
Yeah, but he struck out.
No, Duran, he got a hit. I mean, I don't understand. We have no patience. Boston sports fans have no patience anymore for young players.
Well, you want to see, we don't want him going down the Bobby Dahlbeck trail,
Okay, but, come on. The hype for Bobby Dahlbeck and the hype for Tristan Casas, to me, is a completely different story. I mean, Casas was the number one prospect for a number of years for the Red Sox.
I agree. Yeah, we have a lot of expectations on this kid. I mean, we've been patiently waiting for him. Okay, no, don't bring him up. We need to let him get some seasoning. Well, he should be we're feeling like he should be seasoned by now, and he had time to season, and we're expecting production now. We're all excited to see him. We're all excited to see him come up. He's underperforming.
I don't think he is right now. I think for a 23-year-old, he's doing really well. And guys, obviously, at some point you got to put him up in the major leagues and you got to let him play. And each day he's getting better. This guy's going to be a big star. And so everyone just get used to it.
Yeah, but you look at the production at first base and it's pretty woeful.
Look, they got,
of the 30 teams in Major League, what are they probably 28 or 29?
Russ, the reason Chaim Bloom and Timmy, I don't know, I think he got it from Ballsack. Rumors are about him getting an extension is the minor league system and the production of the players in the minor league system this year has been almost historic. They are promoting guys left and right because all of the success they've had this year. We've got tons of guys who are going to come up, the Roman Anthonys of the world, the Rafaelas. I mean, obviously the Mayers, the Yorks. We're going to have a lot of players. Do you trust Bloom to be able to pick and choose who is ending up on the current roster and who goes out to other teams for needs?
No. I trust him. I trust him to build to the extent that he's responsible for building a system that is developing players who they drafted. He seems to have made a couple of good drafts, made a couple of good draft picks in York. I mean, the Mayer thing fell to him. Like that was a trained monkey could have made the Mayer pick. What I give him a lot of credit for is that the system seems to be, the player development piece of the system seems to be working. I just have not seen him show any sort of feel for the market or for evaluating his own players versus other players. And he's made that mistake over and over again. And that's what I don't trust. I don't trust him to decide who should be up and who should be traded and what you could get in the market. I think he's failed at that.
No, it's a great point. Joe, Chaim Bloom, if I remember, has never made a Dombrowski deal where he gave up prospects to get a legitimate player.
Major league player.
Am I right about that?
I can't think of anything like that. What my beef with Chaim is he seems to bring his minor leaguers up too early, and then they fail. Just about everyone he brought up too early. Pitching, position players. I think he's got to have a little more patience. I know they've needed, especially on the pitching, but sometimes you have to let the guys develop.
It's
All
a
right,
little
let's
bit like shades of Danny Ainge kind of hoarding draft picks and then kind of not really knowing what to do with them. I think kind of like a shade of him, like getting this, almost more concerned with the farm system than the actual product on the field.
Well, he definitely gets more excited about the farm system. Mayor, another home run today. The guy's just tearing it up. Mayor's going to be the starting shortstop in 2024. That looks clear.
He's not to start the year, Scotty. He's not going to start the year as the shortstop in April next year. They're not going to do that.
Okay.
Don't wreck
All
it
right,
for him, Russell.
we'll see.
Don't wreck it for Scotty. Don't wreck it for him. Okay.
No,
But
he's going to.
we do need a shortstop desperately, but we also need a second base. We need, a first baseman. The infield's in shambles.
Mayor may be the starting shortstop by September. You watch. What are they going to do
Of
with
this year?
Yes.
Of this year?
Absolutely.
You're
If
smart.
they're-
You
if
are.
they're
You
out
are.
of it,
That would be the same mistake again. Bring
No.
the guys up too early.
no, this guy's
That would be
special. This guy's special.
Stupid.
Just wasting up at
No
bat.
reason for that.
You're
Wasn't he in
wasting
single
up
A
at
last
bat.
year?
What's that?
He was in single A last year.
Started the year in single A, for God's sakes. I
You-
mean,
What's talking about?
please.
Rafael Devers was up and Bogarts were up for
Yeah.
19. This guy, all you have to look at him, you're just wasting up at bats in the minor leagues. What are you even there for? This guy, first of all, if he wasn't a quality major league infielder defensively, I would say no. But he already is there. He's there
They
defensively.
do say he's plus on the infield.
Okay,
So
well,
I'll give you that. And we need that more than anything.
all right, another name for you, Romeo Anthony. It's going to be the star. I don't know what
Roman Anthony.
Roman Anthony.
Yeah.
A huge stud. He was their second round pick last year.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's already going up the system big time. They've got, and all of a sudden now they have a lot of outfield minor league depth, which you didn't have before.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
No,
where,
I mean, it's great.
Big surprise. I just got the notification. Victor Wembanyama went number one.
Yeah, big
No
Yes.
surprise.
some guy bet 60 grand that he would go number one, and he
What
would
he win? 60,001?
No, he
Won
bet
$300.
$300.
$300. Yeah. $300. Yeah.
That's
Wow,
the thing.
that's way too much risk for so little.
Yeah,
reward.
because the guy could have got like stabbed or something on his way to
Yeah.
New York City.
Yeah,
Could've got
isn't
into a
he in
car
New
accident.
York? So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, maybe like $1,600. I might have
Yes.
right, but 300 seems like a possible problems there. But I found that very interesting. I'm sure you did. Obviously, you heard about it. All right, go to the New England Patriots. Is Hopkins coming here? We'll go around. Timmy, is Hopkins coming or not?
It would be too good to be true. Our luck isn't that good. I'll say no.
Joe?
before I said 5%, now it's up to 20%.
Well, actually, it's
I'm
up to
looking
50.
right here. Sports Illustrated 8 hours ago. 2-team race now. The Patriots. are
Titans
one of
and
them.
them. Yeah.
So it's 50%, Joe. All right, so you say no. If you say 20%, you say
Yeah.
no. Russell?
Yes. 51%. I say yes.
Yeah, he's coming here. There's no question. Why the hell would you go to the Titans? Who gives a shit? He's going there.
Nashville is more fun than Foxborough.
No, who's the quarterback for the Titans?
Tannehill.
Is that right?
Ryan Tannehill. Yep.
Oh, for God's sake! Of course he's coming here, and he loves Bill Belichick. What kind of deal, Russ? Is it over 10?
I don't know, like $10 million, something like that. It won't be what he wants.
Yeah, but that will be huge, right? I mean, all of a sudden, the excitement level for the Patriots, the excitement level goes up, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that this is a massive need. That offense, then you can start to feel like that's going to be top 15, top 10 offense if you can get him.
Joe, is he is he a potential Randy Moss impact, or we just?
Oh, no. He's never been able to get separation in his career. He's a big guy, and he's contested. He's N'Keal Harry with a little extra.
Oh, come on. What are you talking to, Keal Harry?
No, that's what he's a
Joe.
big guy.
Oh,
He's a big guy who makes contested catches.
He might be N'Keal Harry's size, but I mean, the guy's been a wildly productive receiver, for God's sakes.
N'Keal
Yeah,
Harry,
he-
first
He'll
player
play
that-
special teams. He'll be on special teams.
You could argue because of the value, the first round pick. That would you argue that N'Keal Harry was the worst player in the history of the New England Patriots?
Yeah, for where he was drafted, the amount of assets they sunk into him. Yeah,
Well, no, you still always have to go with Ken Sims, the number
Ben
one
Sims.
pick
Yeah, you're right,
overall.
Joe. Yeah, it's hard
He
to
was
beat
number
that.
one pick
No, you
overall.
always say that, Joe. Sims contributed. What do you? He was.
No,
Game day
barely.
Ken Sims, he was
Yeah,
terrible,
he
and
was horrible.
he was out of the league in 3 years.
Yeah,
The worst
he
thing
was
about
horrible.
N'Keal Harry were the receivers that we could have had instead of.
Oh, that's what kills you when you look around the league at the Jeffersons and the Thomases, and you go, oh my
There was
God.
Sims in the '85 team.
No,
No, it was earlier than that, right?
yeah, long gone by then, long gone. by
Yeah.
then.
Well, he was drafted
Yeah.
in what '81, right?
No, I think he was
Yeah.
70s,
No.
Who's that, Kenny?
late 70s.
No, I think he was I think he was
Oh.
80, 81. I think Scott's right.
Yeah, he was '81. I'm gonna.
The best number one we ever got was Plunkett and the Steamer. Stanley,
No, he wasn't the number one pick in the draft.
no.
1982. Kenny
Yeah,
Stamps.
he was on that '85 team, guys.
Huh?
They hadn't bailed on him by then. He was on the '85 team. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure of it.
Okay.
First overall.
Yeah. No, the first pick. You're confusing Irving Fryer.
Kenny Stamps.
Irving Fry, you're right. That's what I'm thinking of.
Five.
Who got
I mean-
stabbed. I remember getting stabbed by the girlfriend on the
Oh, his
Day of the
wife, I
playoff.
thought.
yeah.
The
Mhm,
best part
By
was
the
he
playoffs?
became a preacher after that. That was the best. part.
mhm.
But then even the better story was he left at halftime during the game and got into a car accident.
Yeah.
Remember that?
He was hanging with the oil can.
During the game. Holy shit. We have to talk about Jack Jones. Is Jack Jones the stupidest player we've ever had
Yeah.
in sports history?
I mean,
Have
he's
you
in
heard-
at
have you heard
Irving
it-
Fryer.
have you
He's in Irving
Have you heard
Fryer
his lawyer-
category, isn't he?
Have you heard his lawyer defending me? He's got a female lawyer, and she is a pit bull. Oh my God! Some of the quotes I've heard coming out of her
Mhm.
mouth. are-
She's not doing him.
She is.
I was
Yeah.
brought up in a family of lawyers. I'm going to tell you, she's not doing him any favors by that grandstanding. She's just trying to help herself out. I mean,
You hide everything under the rug. That's
she should be just saying it wasn't that wasn't his bag. He didn't know what the contents were, and then walking away. I mean, what she was, blaming the media and all this stuff for everything. But what he did, look, Massachusetts has strict gun penalties. He's facing a mandatory, let me say that, mandatory 2.5 years. He's not getting around that.
minimum. That's the absolute minimum. he can
Mandatory.
get.
Yeah, he has to serve 2.5 years for his offenses. It's minimum. So why?
I have an acquaintance who got caught with a gun in his car. It wasn't even his car. He did 1 year.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, that's
Why
the
are we-
minimum for
That's the
possession
minimum.
of a
And
1
they
year.
should be cutting him. They should have cut him 12 hours after that. Like, I mean, this is not what this team needs. He's not that good. I mean, he's
Yeah.
good, but like he's not that good. Like, what are you doing? Just Get rid of the guy.
And didn't you love it that he was tweeting at John Morant how stupid he was?
I know. Now, is there any possible way that there is some confusion here in this case? I mean, it seems like beyond the realm of stupidity to do what he did. It just doesn't even seem fathomable.
he's got. I mean, honestly, Timmy, if this was his,
Do that.
if this
Some
was his
people are
first
just-
brush, if this was his first brush with the law, maybe you say, "Oh my God, maybe he took the wrong bag or whatever." But this guy's done stupid things before. It's just
He robbed
Yeah,
a
I'm
Panda
stupid.
Express.
I've had tubes of toothpaste taken out of my bag because they were
He
too big.
robbed a Panda Express, not allegedly. He spent 45 days in house arrest and pled it out. He broke into a Panda Express when it was closed.
At the mall.
What do they steal the egg rolls? Or what do they do?
I mean, now just remember, he was on the injured list last year, and they suspended him the last 2 games. I mean,
Yep.
Yep.
I mean,
Him and the punter, remember? The two of them were doing something that they didn't like.
he couldn't even behave when he was injured and he was
Yeah.
losing checks. Yeah, so why haven't they cut him?
I don't know. And they may be just letting this thing get to the next stage, you know, in a lawsuit or something like that. But you got to believe that the Crafts just don't need this aggravation.
Well, they're going to want to be able to cut him with cause, and they're going to
Yeah.
make sure that he's been charged and with
Yeah.
Just imagine
Yeah.
when he's packing his luggage, he puts 2 guns in his bag with a high capacity magazine.
Who
And the guns were
doesn't
loaded.
know
The
you
guns
can't
were-
bring this to the airport? Who?
The guns were loaded. The guns were loaded.
But actually, he can bring it to the airport. There's a way that they have to pack it. You have to pack it in a certain case. So you actually could have brought those guns and checked them as long as
You have to check them, right? You
Check
can't
them
bring them
and-
on.
but you have to have it in a particular lock case. There's a procedure to it.
Now, does he even have a license to carry? I
He
doubt
did
if
not
he's a
have
felon,
a.
right?
He did not have
He's a
a.
felon, right? Yeah.
permit.
He's
There
a
was no
convicted
permit.
felon if he did 45 days in jail, right?
No, without a.
No.
It's 1 year mandatory. State of
So,
Massachusetts.
I mean, was he a convicted felon already? In possession
No,
of
I
a gun?
think he pled a
I
misdemeanor.
think it was a misdemeanor. Yeah, I don't think it was a
Okay.
felony, Tim.
The
Yeah.
extension that he had, the extension gets you an extra year and a half.
Yeah,
That just
a high capacity extension there.
that actually Biden passed that did something to make the extensions illegal federally in the last few months. So his
No,
time is very
almost,
poor.
I almost feel bad for somebody that stupid. I literally feel
Mhm.
bad for him. He's that dumb.
He is that
Yep.
stupid. Yeah. All right, we got to go to the Bruins. Did you gain any joy? Should Bruce Cassidy bring the Stanley Cup to Government Center? And should we
Oh,
all
good for him.
when noon
Is he gonna
time?
do that?
Maybe Ray
doing
Bork
that?
could be there.
He's not bringing the cup here, is he?
No, I'm joking, but
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No, he said he's bringing it to Cape Cod.
oh, he is.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be there.
He's bringing it to Cape Cod, he said.
We all liked Bruce Cassidy.
Oh, we all did.
We said it was time for a change, but it's still it hurts, right?
Well, it hurts because our replacement coach panicked in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
You know, if that's really the problem, is that he got panicky and went away from what worked in the year. So, but they weren't going to set the all-time record in regular season points with Bruce Cassidy. I mean,
No.
to start, Bergeron and Krejci wouldn't have come back.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
It was he had worn out his voice for
Yeah.
sure. You know, and he
Well,
got
especially with guys like DeBrusque and Frederick, the younger guys really.
Yeah,
Does
he
Bert-
needed he needed a fresh locker room for that act. You know what I mean? I think he has like a 5-year lifespan anywhere
Mhm.
he goes.
Does
Mhm.
Bertuzzi re-sign with the Bruins? Bertuzzi.
I think they'd like it, but you're going to have to trade either Hall or one of the goaltenders to accommodate that.
All right, who do you
Just
like?
can't we
Hall or
just-
Bertuzzi?
Oh, I'd take Bertuzzi in a heartbeat over Hall.
Oh, really?
I don't know about that.
That's interesting.
Why don't we just trade Allmark? Can't we just trade Allmark and at the height of his value?
Yeah,
and go with
exactly. A
Swayman?
high asset.
Absolutely, I think.
I think
roughly
I'm a
that's it.
Sway guy, but I think Sway would be more valuable to other teams.
Right.
He wasn't as good as Allmark, but he was very,
Yeah,
very
he makes,
good. And he's
but
Allmark-
Allmark makes more money.
Allmark absolutely peaked this year. We will never
Yeah.
see that again.
No, right?
All right, boys. We'll see. Wait, do you have more in the NBA draft? Who's been drafted?
Not. I mean, they're little. Everyone's kind of like there was a little
who
surprise.
got
at
number two, Scoot Henderson or Miller?
No, Miller. Charlotte took Miller. So
I figured
yeah.
they take the wing.
And then
Yeah, they
has
took the
the
win.
third pick been
Now Portland didn't want a guard. They got guards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has the
Scoot-
third
three
pick
now.
Scoot looks pretty exciting, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Scoot
but
went
but
3.
they got guards.
did Scooter
Scoot
go? He
went
went
3.
3. Who went 4?
No one. The Amon Thompson, it looks like, is being reported now.
One of the twins
Amen.
there.
Yeah, one of
Is it
the
Ahmed
twins.
The
or
point
Amen?
guard of the two twins.
Okay, well that's
I don't know, Timmy. It's a good question. I don't know if it's amen or amen. No
all right,
idea.
boys. But we gotta go. We gotta watch the draft. All
Yeah,
right,
we got to
boys,
watch the draft.
that's our show for tonight. I
Well-
want to thank, of course, the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Mhm.